Welcome, Earthlings, to the latest episode of the Wreak Havoc Film Buffs podcast. I'm your host, Dan Zellers, along with my cinema demon co-host, Mr.
Sammy Castle.
We are joined here today over the phone to discuss, to get through this thing called life. We're here to discuss this year's Wreak Havoc Horror Film Festival, which is our 6th year. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yes, I am too.
Especially when you think about where we started off at. I know I say that every year, but I mean it every single year.
It was a really weird year for us, for everybody. It was an exceptionally weird time for me this year. So
yeah,
because of scheduling.
Yeah, but we both have stayed very busy. I mean, as usual. And we even got a pretty cool little film out of it, too.
Yes.
So why don't we start off by talking about that? That's kind of how we opened the festival both nights.
Yeah.
We had the world premiere of the latest horror film from Wreak Havoc Productions called Chatterbox.
Chatterbox!
So, Sammie, why don't you describe Chatterbox for our listeners?
Should I tell the story of how Chatterbox came about?
Sure.
Dan and I and Jeff Cochran, our frequent collaborator, were riding to Virginia and back for a Trouble Will Cause screening at the Reynolds Homestead, I think.
Yeah.
So I had just done a film called When the Whistle Breaks the Silence.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that one.
I played a big, basically quiet killer. I went too far out from doing the first Backwards Bubba that I did, a big silent killer. I had just been cast in the Winter Blood Friday the 13th fan film, big silent killer, and we were just discussing how that was the exact opposite of what I am. Where I just don't fucking shut up.
Yeah.
So we created and fleshed out the Chatterbox Killer. It's kind of a joke.
Yeah.
But then we kind of figured that it might be a pretty good idea. So Dan wrote a script based on the character the three of us developed, and we reached out to Chad Hunt, frequent collaborator, for his first directing gig.
Yeah.
All our regular cast and crew were on hand. Jeff, Zach Fox as our wonderful DP as always, and brought in Stephanie Griffith to play the victim of my incessant chatter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a fun day. It only took us a day to shoot, or probably half a day.
Yeah.
Just a little short.
Yeah,
a micro short, as they would call it.
Yeah, micro short's about a 5-minute movie, and I'm pretty proud of it. It turned out better than I thought it would. It's
well, that's good.
it's fun. It's basically like a joke. It's got a setup and a punchline, and it's humorous, and a little scary too. So. So we had pretty good reactions to that film. From the audience. I've heard pretty good things. And then we moved on to our official selection. We kicked off Wednesday with Woodland Cemetery.
Very good.
Which was one of our best films. It took home the Best Foreign Film Award and Best Cinematography Award.
Yep. I really like that movie.
Yeah, it's creepy as hell.
That's a really creepy, very well done short.
Yes, and beautifully shot.
Yes, very beautifully shot.
So we should probably start off by saying that by acknowledging what we screened this year was only the films that we were able to nominate for awards. So it didn't encompass the entire official selection from this year's film festival, simply because we had such rigorous time restraints this year.
Yep.
Unlike last year was ridiculous how much time we had. We had 2 screens running for 2 days, and it was just an incredible amount of screen time.
Yeah.
So this year we had about 7 hours total, maybe something like that. So we had to,
At the most.
Yeah, and we had to cut it down. And the best way we could think to do that was, fair, was to not just screen the films that were nominated. So first of all, I would like to take a minute to read the list of the films that are still part of this year's official selection, but just didn't make a nomination.
Absolutely.
We have Leora from Tanya Kempler. We have The Helmet from Josh Levitt. We have Wake Up from Clea Cullen, who is a returning filmmaker. Fever Dreams from a returning filmmaker as well, Rob Underhill. Bite Club, which is a pretty neat little film from Australia. Heathens from Carlos Garcia. Preparation from Mark Clawberg. Misconception from returning filmmaker Richard Roundtree from the United Kingdom. He's a pretty cool guy. Equals from Spain. Reditus Domum from director Andrew Huggins. No One Is Coming from Matthew Barber. Create Your Killer by Sarah Gersky. And The Buckaboo by Kyle Knopf, which I keep seeing that one hitting the festival circuit a lot. It's a pretty cool little film. The Telltale Heart, a musical, which that was such a fun and very well made movie. But unfortunately, it's like 38 minutes long, and that would have
It eats a lot.
would have eaten a lot. We had the film Swipe from director Niels Bourgeon from the Netherlands, whose other film, give me a second, it's on the tip of my tongue. I think that was Woodland Cemetery, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Teacher Shortage by Troy Escamilla, which is another pretty cool film. It's been doing really well at the festival circuit.
And that film seems like it's been around the film festival circuit forever.
I know, right?
It just keeps getting brought up. So it's a very good little. It's not little, but it's a very good film.
A very good feature film, yeah. And Mama Don't Go, finally, by Rafael de Leon. So those are the films that we were not able to screen this year, unfortunately. But who knows? I would love to be able to find a way to fit them in either next year or maybe sometime in the spring, whenever theaters are allowed to reopen in North Carolina and in a big way, and maybe we can have a side festival or something. I don't know. We've got some ideas, but definitely still want to screen those for our audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If at all possible.
Yeah.
It was really. I think it really said a lot for our commitment to this film festival.
Yeah.
That we were able to pull off a live one, where a lot of people haven't.
Yeah, not many of them happening these days.
Yeah. So luckily we had some connections and some very good ones that allowed us to do a drive-in, which was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We a lot of film festivals going virtual this year, or they just aren't happening. We've had a couple festivals we submitted Uncle Otto's truck to that literally just rejected the film and rejected all films and took our money and didn't put on a festival.
Really?
A couple, yeah. I'm not going to mention who they are, but they did that, and it ain't a good feeling, folks, as a filmmaker, to see that kind of stuff. So we knew right off the bat we weren't going to do that.
Yeah.
We had contemplated making it a virtual festival and highly considered it, but at the end of the day, our biggest priority was just finding a way to do this safely in a way that everyone felt comfortable doing it, and thank God we were able to come to an agreement with our good pal Zach Fox at Marketplace Cinemas in Winston-Salem, and and not only are they a great theater to begin with. Yeah, we had a deal to go with them before they created a drive-in. But in order to kind of keep up with their audiences who were wanting to see films, they had to create a drive-in theater outside, and they've done a beautiful job with it and keeping their audiences happy in Winston-Salem. So they're able to accommodate us. So again, I've said it several times, and I know I neglected to say it at the film festival as much as I should have, but thank you to Zach Fox, our good pal and frequent collaborator and guest of this show for making it happen. Okay, so let's get to the films that we screened. We talked about Woodland Cemetery. Next, we had also from the United Kingdom, The Babysitter. That was a pretty cool movie.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, one of those little slasher films that kind of takes a neat twist there that you don't really see coming.
It was a really 80s movie too, wasn't it?
Yes, very 80s centric. I don't know if it took place in the 80s, but it sure felt like it.
Yeah.
Then we had Black Mass, also from the United Kingdom, he's like what, third time returning director or fourth, something like that. Like all his films have pretty much been in
3. It may have been more.
Yeah, like all his films I'm aware of have pretty much been in our film festival. So he's one of those talents that just very steady and
keeps turning them out.
Yeah, and they're all very high quality. And I think we nominated him for Best Director and the film for Best Foreign Film as well. The next film we showed was The House Guest, which I think if we had a category for most underrated film, this would probably win.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorites. I really enjoyed this film. Even upon watching it multiple times, it just got better and better for me. Made in South Carolina, by starring some familiar faces, people we've seen in quite a few things in our festivals in the years past, and it's not only funny and entertaining, but it's also really scary too.
Yeah.
Pull some really cool.
It's hard to scare us.
Yeah,
so.
It really is, and this one, like I said, I don't, I hope it finds a bigger audience outside of the film festival circuit, and other people are able to find it and enjoy it as much as I have. Next, we had The Witches of Bushwick, which I think is safe to say is very much a crowd pleaser and one of those that got a huge reaction from our audience. I asked our audience at the beginning of the festival to, since you could clap, I guess, but no one's really going to hear it outside your car. So honk your horns, flash your lights, do something to indicate that you're pleased with the film. Let us know. That's your way to applause. And boy, they turned out for that film.
Yes.
Witches of Bushwick also took home our Best Director award and Best Musical Score. The director, Catherine Deloy. It was so funny. I got very sweet little emails from her the next day. Just she was super excited about her award. Yeah, it's always cool feeling to give that to give that feeling to another director, another filmmaker. It's a cool feeling. As a director who's won very few awards, when it does happen, it's a very nice thing. Our next film in this first block was a little short animated film musical called In a Better Place, which was just so much fun.
Stephanie, I love this movie.
It's a really cute, fun horror film. Little, it's trying to make hell a better place to torture people and stuff like that.
Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's make hell a better place.
Yeah, sure. Let's get better at evil deeds.
I wonder if Harlequin saw this before he made Department 666.
I don't know, but it's very similar. vibe you got going there.
Yeah.
After our first break, we came back to the film Ambrosia, which is one that I can think of a couple of our film festival judges were pretty hardcore about. And I think we nominated that for Best Actor and Best Score, if I'm not mistaken. Then we had the film that I thought may have had the biggest crowd reaction, and that's the North Carolina made Bella and the Slasher from director Justin Reich. And this was very much a crowd pleaser, and I can see why. It's an extraordinarily well-made film, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. It's a very entertaining film. Featuring
possibly my favorite short of the festival.
Yeah, mine too. I was asked in a radio interview last week one that stood out to me, and honestly, when someone asks me a question in like a live setting, right, that I'm not prepared for it, I'm not the most. I probably need to take some improv classes with Sammie because I'm not the fastest on my feet, but this is the one that stood out to me, and I was like, oh yeah, Belle and the Slasher. Obviously, this is might be the best thing we've shown in a long time. Starring our pal Matt Patterson, who worked with us on Uncle Otto's Truck, and this film took home the Best North Carolina Film and the Best Actress award for Cherokee Rose Castro for the leading role, who's a child actress. Yeah. Very, what's the word I want to say? She's got that it factor, that just, she's very watchable. Something that you're born with.
She's the camera likes her.
Yeah. She's a talented actress, but on top of that, she's got one of that, like I said, that it factor that you're born. You either got it or you don't.
Yeah.
So she was a great find for the casting on that film, I would say.
Absolutely.
Next, we had another North Carolina film called Bumps in the Night, which
was it made in North Carolina? I don't know that I knew that.
Yeah. It's from the same team who brought Croak. That we showed, was that last year or a year before?
Yeah,
I don't know, but that's that's another fun film.
They are very into their old school monsters.
Yes. Yeah, I would really love to meet those filmmakers. I hope maybe they'll submit something else to us in the future, and then come up here and join us one year. Kind of a gross out comedy.
Yeah.
I heard from a handful of people that was their favorite.
Really?
Yeah, my brother thought that was his favorite, or one of his favorites. So I don't know why. Yeah. Next we had The Chrysalis, which was a very disturbing little film involving literally a butterfly metamorphosis from a chrysalis, and the special effects in this film were pretty outstanding.
Very good.
And we nominated it for that and for Best Actress, I believe. It may have been another nomination. I don't remember. I don't have the list of nominees in front of me.
I don't think so, but you may be right.
Next, we had a film from Italy called Script, which is a pretty neat meta type film about a story.
That's a good description.
Yeah, it's a story within a story within a story sort of deal, and it still works. It continues to surprise and scare. I like that one a lot. I think we nominated for Best Foreign Film.
Jacob really liked it too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Finally, for the short films on Wednesday, we had the micro short Voices, which I think this is one of your favorites, wasn't it, Sammie?
Which one was it?
Voices.
The what?
Voices.
Oh yeah. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, we nominated.
It packed a lot of punch and a little bit of short.
Yeah, and we nominated it for Best Micro Short as well. And we ended Wednesday night with the North Carolina-made feature film Spiral Drive. And we had the star and director of the film, Eric Fitzpatrick, on hand, which I did not get to hang out with him. He seems like a really cool guy, and I'd like to maybe work with him on something in the future. But he gave us a very lovely review, I will say. I was very, very happy about that. Yeah.
I didn't get to meet him.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I saw him a couple times, but I was so busy going back and forth and doing stuff. But but a very cool little film. It's hard. I don't really know what to say about it. I really enjoyed it. That's the best thing I can say. It's just it stood out to me as being one of my favorites. It's not the most obvious choice for something to screen, especially when you're looking at films like Fever Dreams and Teacher Shortage. But for to me, there's an originality to it that's also familiar to other found footage type films. That's just there's a funness to it as well that I really liked about Spiral Drive.
Yeah.
And it really worked and clicked with our audience. So that's how we ended our first night on Wednesday, the 21st. And we opened up Thursday, the 22nd, with a much bigger crowd, maybe almost twice the size. I'm not sure what the exact count was, but it was pretty great to see the turnout.
It was a good crowd.
Yeah, and we screened Chatterbox again, had a pretty good reaction again, and I was very happy about that. And then we started the film festival with the United Kingdom's Boris in the Forest.
What a unique film.
I know, right? I wish I had that type of creativity. To think of a film like that. I really enjoyed that film. It had such an amazing payoff at the end. We nominated that film, I believe, Best Special Effects, and it won for Best Actor, Mr. Mac McDonald, who I've also been messaging with back and forth, who seems like a really funny guy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Next, we had the American film Birthday Bitch, which is a film that I've got to watch very few of these from an audience perspective, but I just happened to be out in the audience when this film was going on, and this got so many laughs from people.
It did really.
Yeah, this year is different because I don't really get to hear the shrieks or the laughter, but when I did, that was really cool. So our audience really dug Birthday Bitch. I think we nominated it Best Horror Comedy.
Yes.
Next,
and that's an understatement. She was a bitch.
Yes, but funny too. Very, very funny, very dangerous bitch. Next, we had. Oh Lord, I'm spacing here.
I don't have the lineup in front of me.
I know. Give me a second. I will tell you.
Tick-tock.
I know. Next, we had Here There Be Tigers.
Oh, Jennifer Trudrun.
Yeah, Jennifer Trudrun, and directed by Polly Chattel. And it's our Dollar Baby film for this year.
Yep.
And a really well made one too. It's a creepy film. It stars her daughter Penny Monroe and Jennifer's daughter, that is. And I think it's. I'm not familiar with the short story. I've never read it, but I would be pretty pleased with it, I would think, if I were Mr. King.
Yeah, and she got in just under the wire. I think that one got pulled right after she got it to go on the new Creepshow show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I don't think that's even available as a doll baby anymore.
Oh, nice. All right, that's a pretty good find then. So that was nominated for Best North Carolina Film. Also nominated for Best North Carolina Film was Death Yard. Now, this was a film that I liked more and more upon seeing it, and I was really, really impressed with it at the festival and how well it played with an audience. A brutal little film. I I don't, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's produced by a haunted trail in North Carolina.
Yes, from what I understand,
Do you remember which one?
Haunted Farm? I don't remember.
See,
if you'd asked me, I probably could have told you.
I think we nominated it. Let's see. The Haunted Farm, the Lively Farm in Hendersonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just pulled it up here. Okay.
That's a good use. I don't know if they used, part of their haunt as that, or
I'd be willing to bet.
Or what? It was good and creepy.
I would be willing to bet they used a lot of the actual haunt itself as a set. They used their actors as characters. They used their makeup and special effects. And you know what? It really worked. It was very special effects intensive, and it was beautifully shot. We nominated for best cinematography as well.
Yeah. That for someone who worked who's worked for several haunts and is working at a haunt now, it was very well done.
As a guy who enjoys haunts, I love going to spooky woods and places like that. And a filmmaker, every time I go in, I walk as slowly as the crowd will let me walk, and I just take in the set design and the makeup and the costumes, and I love all of it. And I just want to shoot something when I'm there. That's I don't, not with a gun, not like other people. I want a big, beautiful camera, and I want to shoot something creepy when I'm there. And
well, at the horror show, it was a much smaller area, so I was all over that place. So I experienced all those sets and all that stuff. Spooky Woods a little bit bigger, covers a little bit more area. I haven't seen hardly any of it.
That's a shame.
I understand some of the sets are really, really good this year. So.
I had a great time. Me and the wife went to Spooky Woods this year, Kersey Valley Spooky Woods in Archdale, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, next film, another North Carolina film. Let's see, directed by Samantha Hawkins, who is going to be a guest on the show, hopefully the next episode or the episode after. We're not sure. That's what I'm not sure about. But another fun little horror film with a nice little message at the end. Some great special effects and makeup. And
the Soska twins and Dread Central for PSA.
Oh, really? Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
When that happened, Samantha was really. Everybody was really excited. But I think it was one of the big ones. I think Dread Central actually put it on the website.
Oh, cool. Some very talented people in front of and behind the camera. Matt and Michelle Patterson, Justin Reich shot it. Samantha wrote and directed it. So Samantha's a really cool person, and we got to work with her briefly on Countdown to Midnight, and she's just been one of those talented people who's always supported us in our film festival. So I cannot wait to have her on as a guest of this show, and I can't wait to see what else she comes up with as a filmmaker.
Yep.
So she's a very talented person. Next we had... With a very
large boyfriend.
Yes, yeah, who's in the film.
It helps when you got people like Matt and Lee trouncing around to scare people. So.
That's right. Put them to good use.
Yeah.
Next we had also a North Carolina film, Escape Trip, who is the same team, directed by Stuart Parks, who brought us Boy, which I think was last year or the year before. And it was last year.
No, it was last year because it was rated.
That's right. Okay. And Raymond Wallace, who brought us Lost in Buffalo City.
One of my favorites.
What a creepy little film that was. That was awesome.
Very, very good filmmakers.
Raylight Productions. This was a funny little film about a group of people who decide to drop acid in a escape room, and as you can imagine, that ain't a good idea. But
whether you're on acid or not.
But it makes for a pretty funny film.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed that one. And so we took a break after Escape Trip and came back with Percipients. And we're joined by the filmmakers of that film, Mr. Rashik Patel, who we got to talk with a little bit. And he seems like a really cool guy. And again, another one of those filmmakers, I'm just eager to see what they come up with, him and the director, Daniel Oramus. Cool guys. I'm really glad they were able to come join us.
We're really excited to have a live event, too.
Yeah, and it's like we said, it's one of those years. It's tough to screen a movie in a year like this. So, we were so glad to have them. Cool guys, fun movie. Nominated.
Glad they came up.
Yeah, me too. Let's see. Next we had Shadow at the Door, which I think we nominated for Best Micro Short.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. I'm pulling it up here on the computer as we talk. Written and directed by Rush Bhatia from Burbank, and pretty cool little film. Chad says it's a very Richard Matheson type ghost story, and
that's a good description. Yeah.
Next, we had the greatest horror film ever made.
What a fun little movie!
And what a good title. That's the title, in case you were wondering.
The ending kind of went wah to me, but other than that movie is just tremendous.
Yeah, our audience had a lot of fun with that film. We got a huge.
If you'd stuck the landing on that could have been a barn burner.
We had a huge reaction from the audience on that one. Yeah, the greatest horror film ever made. And it also took home our Best Horror Comedy Award.
Which we hold near and dear to our hearts.
Yes, we do. Next, we had Feeders from director Justin Oakley, who is one of those directors. I was telling Zach about him the other day during the festival about. I don't know Justin. We've talked back and forth quite a few times over the past several years, and he's made a couple other short films called Love and Discontent, and I can't remember, to be honest with you, and I'm sorry, Justin, if you're listening, but I honestly can't remember if one of your films has been in our festival in the past, but I know we have rejected some of the films. And the reason I know that is because, he kind of reached out for some advice as a new filmmaker. And he's one of those people that as I watch his films progress more and more with each film, I'm proud of this guy. I like the work he's doing, and I think he's got a lot of talent and a lot of potential. And I like what he's bringing to the table, and I can't wait to see what he comes up with next. Another film, I think we nominated that.
That's good advice for a lot of filmmakers. If you keep getting rejected, ask.
Yeah.
And don't ask, why do you fucking keep rejecting me?
Yeah.
Just say, what are you looking for? What am I missing? Yeah. There's ways to ask without being a jerk about it.
Yeah, and a lot of times when filmmakers reach out to me and ask, about their films, or I will often invite them to come be a part of the festival and to watch and for free. Just as our guest, we want them to see what other filmmakers are doing. Let them, especially people like him, people who aren't really necessarily connected as well as a lot of other local filmmakers are, to get some of those connections.
And you're constantly getting rejected.
Yeah, it's tough.
You never get to go to a film festival.
Yeah.
And you don't see what you're up against.
Yeah, exactly. You don't see what you're up against, and you don't get to meet some of those other people. A lot of these films, they are great films simply because they collaborate with other great filmmakers. You know, we just talked about Angel Isn't Changed a minute ago. That's got some really great people working on it. Any film would be lucky to have some of those people. So, again, Justin Oakley, I can't wait to see what he comes up with next. Next up, we had Heartsick, which is a really, probably, I'd say one of my favorite dramas this year. A kind of a love story, a demented love story, directed by Molly Parnes and produced by Bethany Lyles, who we got to hang out with her brother Joey Rosinski at the film festival, who was there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was there representing, I guess, his sister and Kill Giggles. He was in Kill Giggles as well.
Yeah.
We nominated the lead actress of Heartsick, Gaia Passler, for Best Actress, and a very well-made horror drama.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we had Backward Creep, North Carolina-made film by third time, I believe, director of our film festival, Christopher G. Moore, and friend of this show, by the way.
Yes, he is. He is.
Which is a very fun little film, both micro short. Speaking of, it took home Best Micro Short Award at the film festival. So
supposedly a proof of concept for a feature.
And you know what? I'm down for it. That sounds great to me.
Well, we almost could have called the special effects this year the Matt Patterson Award because between he worked on Samantha and Samantha's, he worked on Backward Creep, he worked on Bella, he helped out a little bit with Giggles.
He's all over the place this year.
All over his festival.
Yeah, and I don't know what we should say or not, but he was. We had taught him about being a festival judge this year, but I think he had so many things going on, and he had so many movies in this festival. I don't think he felt comfortable with how how much he was probably going to be represented this year, and to be affiliated with the festival too. So,
plus he's a little busy at Tom Savini's school, so
yeah, he's crushing it there too. He just took home their big award there at the Tom Savini School. So we're super proud of Matt Patterson, and he's a great guy, a good friend of ours, and someone we hope to collaborate with very soon.
I have a feeling he's getting ready to get very expensive.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, yeah, but I think
I know
it's Matt. It's a collaboration thing. I think he likes working with us. Hopefully he'll be back local soon enough.
Yeah.
He's a lot of the reason I'm at Spooky Woods now.
Yeah.
We like working together. And just hanging out.
And friend of the show.
Just a running theme here.
Yeah, I know. We need exactly. And finally, we ended the film festival with Kill Giggles. A film that Mr. Castle here had a nice little part in himself. What?
So I didn't vote on anything for it.
What can you tell? No, you didn't. You kept your mouth shut. What can you tell the audience about your scene in Kill Giggles without spoiling too much?
I don't even think I got interviewed for the behind the scenes. Maybe a little bit. I'm sure there's a behind the scenes documentary that's coming too. But it was 2 exhausting days for me.
I'm sure.
The first was about March or April. I spent 3 hours on a full body cast at Spooky Woods.
Yikes.
And Lord love him, Matt. Matt wasn't doing any of that. He just happened to be down at the monster shop working.
Yeah.
And they told me as that stuff started to harden that I could start kind of moving around a little bit and start releasing myself from it. That I feel it starting to tighten.
Yeah.
And that was telling me it was hardening. So about 3+ hours in, Matt comes over, and I'm laying on the ground, completely up to my neck in plaster cast. And he comes over and he pulls the chair up and turns it around and kind of straddles it and sits down in front of me and he goes, "How you feeling?" I'm like, not too bad. And I'd already started kind of working myself out of it. He said, "You ready to get at that thing, ain't you?" And I said, yeah, I'm not claustrophobic. It hasn't really bothered me that bad. But, yeah, this is starting to get a little annoying. I'm about ready to get out. He said, "Well, if you're about ready to get out, you're almost done." And he just sit there and talk to me for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It kind of made the process go a little bit better.
Probably relaxed you some.
And then I spent a day at the Dixie Classic Fair. I spent about 30 minutes getting tased and dropping to my knees to the ground. And then I spent 2 hours buried in the ground. So,
no spoilers.
Well worth it. From the moment this movie was announced, I wanted to be a part of it. From what I understand, they had somebody else cast as my character. And for some reason, either he dropped out, or it wasn't working, or something. And Jason approached me to the point where the storyboards don't even have me in them. That's how close it was.
Oh, wow.
So then he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, do you want to be a do-si-do?" And I went, "I do." So I think it turned out to be one of the memorable deaths in the movie.
It is, I've said this before, but it is no joke my favorite scene of the whole film. And not just saying that because you're in it. I would say that to Jason or anyone listening who's associated with this film. It's by far my favorite part of the film.
Well, according to Jason and Joe both, they spent 2 hours planning my 30 seconds. Not 2 hours, 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Planning my 30 seconds.
Yeah, I can believe it. It shows. It turned out really well. So
I'm super proud to be part of that film.
As you should be.
I hear there's some distribution coming. I don't know exactly what. It would be really great to see a movie I'm in pop up in Walmart. It would be cool.
Yeah.
It may. I was glad to finally get to work with Jason Buchanan, and that whole crew. I've worked with Joe a little bit. I got to go do some of the early promo stuff for it, where I played a different clown, a different kind of character. But yeah, I'm thrilled to be part of it.
Very cool. Our audience.
A lot of our friends involved too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our audience loved the film and gave it our Audience Choice Award. So that's pretty cool, and it won also Best Feature Film at the festival this year.
Yeah.
So we ended the night with our award ceremony, and just to recap here, I'm going to go through our awards one more time. Best Micro Short went to Backward Creep. Foreign Film went to Woodland Cemetery. Special Effects went to Backward Creep. Musical Score went to Witches of Bushwick. Our Cinematography Award went to Woodland Cemetery. Our Best Actress was Cherokee Rose Castro from Bella and the Slasher. Our Best Actor was Mac McDonald from Boris in the Forest. Our Director was Catherine Delaloy from the Witches of Bushwick. Our Best Horror Comedy was The Greatest Horror Film Ever Made. Our Best North Carolina Film was Bella and the Slasher. Our Best Short Film was Monster Book. And our Best Feature Film was Kill Giggles.
Did we talk about Monster Book? Did you skip that in the lineup?
Did I? I don't know. Let me go back and look. I think I don't remember talking about it. Yeah, we did. We did shortly, but a very creepy little film. We like that one a lot.
Silent. I have an affinity for people who can make a very well made short with very little to no dialogue.
Oh, same here. And that one works beautifully. That was one of those shorts we saw at the during the initial phase of judging and said, "Oh, absolutely, hands down, this has got to be in the festival. It's one of the best things we have." So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with our selection this year. I think our audience, I've heard very good things from them as well.
Yeah, it was a weird year because we did this in the middle of a pandemic. I was surprised we got 50 films submitted.
I know.
So I don't know if it was some carryover from last fall or what, but North Carolina brought it strong this year.
Yeah, North Carolina typically does, and I was very pleased with it this year in particular. But I was a little worried myself there for a minute that maybe perhaps we weren't going to have as big a turnout as we normally do with the submissions. But filmmakers didn't disappoint. This has been a very great year for films. So we one of the things we did early on was put out kind of a little message to filmmakers saying, "Hey, you can still submit to us. We're going to have a film festival one way or the other." And we slashed our submission prices way down to what they would have normally been to kind of help people out who are struggling. And I think we're better off for it. We've got some amazing films this year, and I'm happy. Our audience is happy, and that's that's the best we can hope for.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, that's our film festival. I think this will pretty much wrap up our episode. Any final thoughts you have on the festival, Sammie?
No, not really. I mean, it was good to hang out with and see people we haven't seen in months and months and months and months now. I've talked to Jason a little bit online. I was supposed to go see him to pick up some of my body parts, but that ended up not happening.
Yeah.
And so, I really hadn't got to see anybody. So to hang out with Jason and Michael Williams and Justin and Lee and Samantha and Joey and then the crew that we have from Andy Titus to new judge Stephanie Griffin to Jeff and Jacob who returned
and Jason Revel.
Always there, and Chad Hunt, of course. We always have a good time when we're hanging out together. If it hadn't been nobody but the 8 of us or whatever,
yeah,
we'd have a good time.
Oh yeah, we'd have a blast.
Once I finally got there.
Yeah, a little late coming, but you had your hands full. So
kind of marrying people. So that
because on top of all the other shit he has to do, and that's what he does now too. If you're looking to get hitched, folks, give us an email.
Don't start that. Who looked at me today and said, "Oh, one of our players at the store." I hadn't seen Sheila since we opened, and I asked her how she's doing it. So we kind of caught up on our summer, and I said, "I got ordained," and she went, "Oh, good. If I get married, I can holler at you." I went, "Whoa."
Well, I'm coming to you for spiritual counseling.
Can you hear my wife laughing in the background?
No, but I can imagine.
Michael and I decided at the film festival that we're going to do a joint cult.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't remember what we were talking about. And he was like, "I got a knife in the car." And I was like, "Why do we need a knife?" He said, "See, this is why our cult's not going anywhere." And I said, "No, see, you're the brawn and the muscle, and I'm the brains and the business." And he went, "Damn it, we're in even more trouble than I thought."
Very nice.
So if you want to join the Sammie Castle, Michael Ray Williams cult, you can contact us through Dan.
Yeah, sure. We'll make it happen. Maybe we'll just we'll just add on a scene to count down to midnight.
There we go.
Can you tell our audience something quick about Windsor House, since they were one of our sponsors this year?
Windsor House. Windsor House is a new
Roku channel.
Yeah,
that
is coming later this fall. I think they're shooting for possibly Thanksgiving. It may be a little bit later than that, but it's a new Roku channel that it looks like we will be partnering with.
Yeah.
To some extent, if not a lot of extent. I know that Jacob has already teamed up with them, and they've announced that Gross Von Krampus will be in their rotation. It's not specifically a horror channel. It's more of an independent film channel.
Yeah.
So there's going to be dramas. There's going to be comedies. There's going to be horror. There's going to be documentaries. Let me get the ad real quick. They are looking for collaborators and content and stuff like that. So if you want to reach out to them, it is www.windsorhousent.com. That's WINDSORHOUSEENT.com.
Very cool.
Ken Allen, who is a local filmmaker,
and Amanda Hoey.
Have reached out about doing some stuff.
Yeah. And they're both there for the film festival too this year.
Yeah.
Sponsored
film festival, and I'm excited. That looks like it's going to be a really cool thing, especially if they're going to concentrate a lot on those kind of film.
Very cool. And also, we need to acknowledge Sin Steps, a online service that we use to do our polling this year, and we were able to accept our Audience Choice Awards by the audience scanning a QR code on the program and just voting that way. Very cool technology, and thanks to Annie for getting that up and running. So, and again, a big thanks to Zach Fox and Marketplace Cinemas for hosting us this year. If you turned out this year as a guest, send us some feedback. Email us and let us know what you thought, and if you want us to return to Marketplace or what, let us know. We're always open to suggestions. So,
and let's not forget our two judges who were not able to make it. Joseph Perry, who's in South Korea, so that would be a very long joint for him. But he does a lot of promotion work for us with some horror magazines, Gruesome, our friends at Gruesome, and some others. And Jason Revel, who is a new judge for us, but brought some insight that I think some of us had. So
we always need some new perspectives. So that's very welcome, and they did a great job.
Yeah,
very cool. Sammie, where can our listeners find more about you?
You can find me for the next 2 weekends scaring the piss out of somebody at Kersey Valley Spooky Woods in High Point, North Carolina. I've had a blast down there. It's fun to get back to just scaring.
I'm sure.
I don't have to worry about where everybody's at, what everybody's doing, and who's got good reviews and who's got bad reviews, and where the sound works and where it don't, and and playing 18 different characters at one time.
Yeah,
it's been fun to just get back to scaring.
I bet it has.
And had some tremendous success too, and kind of got to design my own characters. Anyway, I'll be there for the next 2 weekends, and other than that, you can find me on all the social media at Sammie Castle. We're still hoping to do some Sammie the Confident Man stuff later in the year. I don't know. It depends on how this crazy virus thing goes.
Yeah. Very cool. You can find everything we're up to at our website, WreakHavocProductions.com. As always, you can find more about the film festival at WreakHavocHorrorFilmFest.com. If you're in the mood for some more spooky stuff, check out our other podcast, the Carolina Haints podcast, and everything we've got going on there at CarolinaHaints.com. We've got a special Halloween episode coming out this Friday. That's pretty messed up.
We're a controversial episode.
Yeah, it's controversial within our own organization, so we'll see what the audience thinks about it. But yeah, I'm excited for it, and hopefully we'll have at least 1 or 2 more spooky episodes. It might drop after October, but hey, that's okay.
Yep.
We do our best here.
For us, horror's year round.
That's true. That's true. It's just more publicly acceptable to everybody else when we do it in October. So.
I come home Saturday in between gigs somewhere before I went to Spooky Woods, and just sit down and watch. I've been trying to catch up on some stuff that I haven't seen that I've heard was really good.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, I watched the autopsy of Jane Doe, which was everything everybody said it's been. And then Saturday, I watched Hush.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Morgan was downstairs, and I started the movie. She was doing yoga or watching yoga or something, and I went upstairs to sit down and grab me a bite to eat before I went to Spooky Woods, and I was like, I got 2 hours, I'm going to watch a movie, so I put on Hush, and she came upstairs, and she said, what are you doing? I said, getting ready to watch a movie. Is it scary? And I was like, well, yeah, it's October. She said, well, okay, let me go to the bathroom, and I'll sit in here and watch it with you. And she was like, I'm glad we didn't watch this at night.
Oh, that's a tremendous film.
I'm in full horror mood right now.
Yeah, I am too. You can email us at wreakhavocproductions@gmail.com, and you can find us on Instagram, Wreak Havoc Productions, and I'm on Twitter at Hank vs. the Undead. So yeah, we will see you next year for the 7th Wreak Havoc Horror Film Festival. Not sure when, not sure where, but by God, it's going to happen.
If we got through this one and can do this one, well, we can do any film.
Yeah, that's the way I'm thinking about it. Yeah. So, yeah. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next year, guys. Keep wreaking havoc.
Absolutely.